Hi friends, welcome to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Ben. Today we are looking at how the successor to the Imperial Class Star Destroyer came about. After the Empire was defeated by Han, Luke, Leia and man-eating teddy bears, and the following Battle of Jakku, the remnants of the Imperial Navy then fled to the unknown regions of the galaxy where, realizing that they weren't exactly liked in the galaxy, started plotting their comeback. They changed their name to the First Order, changed their musical style to emo, released a very successful comeback album, and they started building new ships. The First Order set up new shipyards in the unknown regions, and got Kuat Entrala Engineering, the successor company to the earlier companies based out of Kuat Drive Yards who built the Imperial Class Star Destroyer, to come up with new designs. The First Order didn't have the resources to construct a huge navy like the Empire had once had. At its peak, the Empire had 25,000 Star Destroyers. So instead, they opted for a smaller number of bigger, more heavily armed ships that borrowed some of the characteristics of the Imperial class and added in new features. This line of ships was called the Resurgent Class. Although the number of Resurgent Class vessels is unknown, the Resistance estimated that there were 30 ships operational in the class. The Resurgent Class was almost twice the length of the earlier Imperial Class at almost 3 kilometers or 1.8 miles long. Its firepower was immense, with over 1,500 turbo lasers, point defense laser cannons and ion cannons. Compare that to just 60 turbo lasers and 60 ion cannons on the Imperial Class. The ships were also carriers and carried 2 wings of TIE Space Superiority starfighters. They launched from lateral hangars in the center of the ship. When a new class of ships comes out, it often improves things for the crew too. When the British introduced the new line of Astute-class attack submarines, sailors for the first time ever got their own beds, instead of having to hot bunk, or sleep in a bed just vacated by some sweaty dude on the opposite shift to you. The crews on the new Resurgent-class ships had access to a new recreational area on the lower decks. The 8,000 stormtroopers on board had access to a state-of-the-art training complex, and the senior officers got their quarters conveniently located on the upper decks near the bridge. Speaking of the bridge, the First Order had learned some lessons from the Executor Super Star Destroyer's demise. The bridge was lower and better protected, and there was also a secondary bridge built into the hull in the midsection of the ship. The main bridge was still heavily inspired by the Imperial era. The windows were the same, and there was a raised level for command officers, while lower level officers worked in pits below to make them realize how feeble they really were. Like the Imperial Class Star Destroyer, the Resurgent class was propelled by 3 main engines. You can also see the influence of the earlier designs in the reactor housing. Both ships had this bulge on the ventral hull that housed the reactor. But the hull on the Resurgent class was far stronger, with armoured plating. Several aspects of the design, such as the idea of having the hangar right inside the middle of the ship, can be said to date back to the old Venator class of the Clone Wars. I guess Kylo Ren was quite into retro stuff. The Resurgent class ship that gets the most screen time in the movies is the Finalizer, but there were others. The Harbinger and the Conqueror both served as escort vessels to Snoke's megastar destroyer, the Supremacy, in The Last Jedi. The Supremacy was so big that 8 Resurgent class Star Destroyers could dock with it at once. Well guys, there's a little bit of a rundown of how the Imperial Class Star Destroyer transformed into the Resurgent Class Star Destroyer of the First Order. What's your favourite type of Star Destroyer? Leave your comments below. As always, if you are new, please subscribe, give this video a like, and if you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.